This is the SuperSport Schools Podcast, bringing you stories of our future stars, powered by Spur Steak Ranchers.
1, 2, 3, go!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the SuperSport Schools Podcast brought to you by Spur. For 2 years now, I've been saying that phrase. The SuperSport Schools Podcast is 2 years old. We have a very special show today. Tim's alongside me. We're going to be talking all about the podcast, what we've been able to do over the past 2 years, and celebrating being 2 years old. Can you believe it? 2 years.
Honestly, it feels like a fever dream. It feels like we started this the other day.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
And we've done well over 70 episodes. It's been every single week for large parts of the last 2 years. So 2022 in November, the first episode is a time for a TMO in school rugby.
Yep.
We had Zoe Nodia and Ben O'Keefe.
Yep.
Ben O'Keefe, New Zealand
Yep.
international rugby referee, and Zoe, one of our top in South Africa. I mean, we've come a long way since then.
Yeah, I mean, so much has changed, but like that was a fitting place for us to start, considering this whole thing started out of a passion. And starting with a rugby podcast, something that both of us enjoyed. It was special.
Yeah, 100%. And we started in a little room with just a blank table and a white wall, and now we're in a nice studio today. We've got all these photos up on the wall that we're going to talk about, go through some of our favorite moments. But just over the past 2 years, anything that stood out to you, something you've learned along the way, something exciting that you've been able to do. I mean, we've traveled all over the country. We've been to places we would never have been to before, learned about sports. I'm now a hockey fan.
Same here.
That's something new for me. Cricket, you as well?
Special one. Going to, where do you?
SA20. Yeah, Centurion.
Yeah, to watch SA20.
Yeah, so it's been quite an incredible experience along the way.
Yes. But I think for me personally, and this is a bit biased, but biggest highlight still has to be Craven Week. Yeah. Considering it was something that throughout high school I watched. Remember, I used to tell my parents during the holiday, I was like, you guys can plan anything for the first 3 weeks of holiday. That last week, don't talk to me. You'll find me on the couch and I'm watching Craven Week. And I remember 6 years, because I started like watching in primary school, just watched Craven Week.
Yeah.
And finding being able to go and seeing the talent there in front of me and meeting legends of the game at there. I mean, we saw JP Peterson. That's crazy.
It was really cool because we got to see, as you say, JP Peterson with the Sharks, Neil Powell, former Blitzbox coach, also involved with the Sharks. Got to interview one of the guys you've been following from a younger age, Gino Cupido.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool experience.
Yeah. No, truly special. And seeing players first, like you say, I mean, Gino, I started watching that year when our first list of players to watch came out. I was like, maybe I'll watch a Strand game. Like, that kid is special. And seeing him at Craven Week, then seeing him at SA Schools, then seeing him playing Province this year.
Very special.
Very special.
Well, listen, we've got some of our top moments behind us here.
Wait. You're the one that's always in the chair, but no one ever asks you, what's been your highlight?
I think one of my highlights is going to come from the boards, or from the wall. So I'll tell you about it when we get to it. Yeah, I'll tell you, but it's up here. So we have some of our top moments. We're going to rewatch them, go back and see, relive them. Yeah. And I want to start with this one behind me here. We're standing next to one of the Bishop's cricket fields. John Quinlan's there with us. He was the creator of those sort of next generation cricket gloves that were quite protective, special, unique design that meant that you could be hit directly by the ball at like 100 kilometers an hour and you'd be fine. Mm-hmm. And we started out with me taking the bat to your gloves.
Honestly, when I first saw him like show how it works, I was like, nah, that's joking. There's no way. You guys feel like, no, you can test it out. I said, what?
Yeah.
You want me to what?
Yeah.
No, hold it. I'll just hit you with a mallet. I said, no. But eventually you guys convinced me, and genuinely, you can't feel. The only time I kind of felt it was when you took an actual cricket bat and started whacking my fingers. I don't know if we have that on video.
We do, which is wonderful.
And the only thing that I really felt from that was the vibrations of you hitting me.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually the pinching, which is what it's trying to prevent. So I'll give it to the guy. You made a damn good product.
It works. And we have that footage of Tim being attacked by my bat. I'm taking it, really just putting everything in, smashing his hands. And then we also have John, the creator of the product, putting his body on the line and literally standing in front of the bowling machine, facing directly a ball at 100 kilometers an hour to prove that those gloves work.
Okay, how are they feeling?
Bro, I'm afraid. I mean, I know they're meant to be protective. You said you were going to hit me with a cricket bat. That's not okay.
We're going to start with this.
You're joking. Feel something you're joking.
Do you know how to hold a cricket bat?
Okay. Yeah, no, I learned. I got taught. So okay,
Just hold it with the one hand. Okay, this is to test out. Nothing.
Nothing.
All right.
I think I'm ready. Woo!
Okay, Tim, you've experienced it with a hammer and a bat.
Yeah.
Would you stand where John's standing, point blank, in front of a bowling machine at 100 kilometers an hour?
Positively, no.
No. Okay.
I mean, I believe in the product, but 100 Ks, you sure?
Okay, well, he believes in his own product, so we're going to put it to the test. This is 100 kilometers an hour in 3, 2, 1.
That nearly took off my head.
I think that's one of the coolest things I've got to do. Just absolutely smash your hands.
I think you were taking it up for the time we had to share a room at Craven Week.
Yeah. I think we need to get John back on, just so we can do it again and just try and. I think one of us needs to stand there and just see 100, 110, 120.
I still don't think I could do it, even though I know it works. There's a certain amount of mental toughness that you need to face a ball at 100 kilometers an hour.
And just trust your product, as John clearly does. And it did work, and it was a pretty, actually, obviously it's a very clever idea, but it's quite simple in how it works, and that was really cool.
Now off to the next clip. Fitting that we started our podcast journey with the episode on the laws. Amy Barrett Theron, SA ref, and your personal mentor. What was that one like?
It was so cool. I mean, when I started refereeing rugby, which was in about grade 10, and then there was COVID, so then I couldn't do anything. But I started talking to Amy earlier on. She's been a great mentor. She's always available to answer questions. She's watched a lot of my games and given feedback, which is great, and helped me a lot along the way. So it was a really cool interview for that, because to sort of be able to talk to someone you've looked up to a long time and had a great relationship with, that was really cool. And obviously she's refereed a World Cup semi-final in New Zealand. It was in 2022 for the Women's World Cup, and she was an assistant referee in the final. So she's gone to the very top of the game. But I think what I like so much about this interview is that we spoke about how she still referees school rugby. And you literally she is the most capped female referee in the world, and she still referees school rugby.
No, it's crazy to watch. I remember, like, even sometimes you put on a SuperSport Schools stream, and I'm like, just watch the boys play, you know. Bosh doing well. I'm like, is that Amy Barrett?
Yeah.
Isn't she like a world rugby ref? What is she doing here?
Yeah.
I think that's just a testament to her passion for it and how much she cares.
Yeah.
She's proper.
Yeah.
Something I'm a little bit grateful that I never had to cross during my rugby experience, because she is quite menacing. Like, if she was to shout at me and tell me to stop, I'd drop the ball. Honestly, she's just throw it away. I was like, no, ma'am, I'm sorry. That's my bad. It's not bad.
And obviously she's gone, you talk about that, she went viral earlier this year. Millions of people watched her little telling off to the under-20 Wales and England captain, and saying very reminiscent of a parent or of a teacher, and how effective it was, because it got the message across and sorted it out when she told them, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. So that's her phrase that's been coined. But the clip we're going to look at now is when she was talking about refereeing school rugby. Hilton, Michael House, Bish Bosh, sharing some of the insights for that.
So coming from World Cup Six Nations, I wanted to talk about school rugby, and we are at Rondebosch today in our Heritage Centre, our Opway Centre, which obviously I'm very familiar with. You're very familiar with the field that's just outside as well, the Tenke Haines. And I did the research beforehand. You are the only person, I made sure, that has ever refereed World Cup semi-final and a Bish Bosh first team game.
Amazing.
for what that's worth, the Bish Bosh part of it. But you've stayed very involved in school rugby, schoolboy rugby as well, and refereeing. I've seen you referee on this field, and not just first team matches, under 14As and sometimes not even 18s on a Saturday morning before you go off and do a whole lot of other games. What is it that I think brings you back to school sport and school rugby and makes you keep refereeing these matches all around?
Schoolboy rugby, it's so pure. It's like the purest form of rugby. The boys just want to play and they just want to win. You know, they're representing their school badge. I love that the boys are on the side. They're so close to the field. Yeah, obviously you can hear everything they say, but it's just such a different atmosphere compared to, say, a Currie Cup, a URC, an international. And I love just, say, coming back to the roots of it and remembering, like, actually, this is why I do it. These boys are here to play. I'm here to help them, you know, to try to contribute to a good game. And yeah, it's always very special. So if I do have an off weekend or if I have a morning off, it's amazing to come down. I know it was my second game ever that I refereed was Rondebosch Bishops under 15B on one of the top fields up there, and had no idea what I was doing. But I just remember thinking, like, wow, like the intensity of a schoolboy match, never mind, you know, under 15, never mind it being the B side, was incredible. And it really challenged me, like, no, I need to be better because, you know, the players deserve better.
And like you say, they just want to play, they want to have fun, and definitely they want to win. The crowd can be quite intense. I think sometimes compared to a crowd at an international match, like you say, 58,000 people sort of all just blurs together. But here, everyone's right next to the field. You can hear everything.
Yeah, and I've certainly heard a wide variety of things. But probably the further I've gotten in my refereeing career, the more comfortable and confident I am to kind of smile and actually like enjoy the chirp, or you know, that was really creative, or you know, it's all part of the game, and I'm very confident in my abilities that I know I can kind of sweep that to the side. I mean, it doesn't make it easy, but that's probably more on the senior levels where it gets a bit more personal.
She's the world's most capped female rugby referee, and she still referees school rugby. Tim's alongside me. We're celebrating our second birthday of the podcast by looking back at some of our favorite memories. Where do you want to take us next?
Well, considering that you tortured me talking about the time you beat me with a cricket bat, let's go back to Yashil Modi. I only played a game of chess against him. How did that one go?
Not so much played as was obliterated.
In a game of blindfold chess?
Yeah, so I wanted to do something cool. We had this really good chess guy coming on the show, and we knew obviously it's Yashil Modi, he's one of the top chess players in South Africa from St. John's. And I thought it would be a cool idea. We'll set up a chess board. I'll play a game against him, but he'll be blindfolded. Obviously, he's going to beat me because he's an expert, but we want to see how quickly he can defeat me. And I will admit, I actually don't really play chess, so I knew where the pieces moved. And
so let's not try and save ourselves. Mention how badly it went.
Well, you can see for yourself.
All right, we have the board set up. You've given me white. I know so much about chess that I know I get to start. I know the direction all the pieces can move in, and basically I know how quickly it can end. And I've made sure that I'm not going to do anything that could let you beat me in the fastest possible time. But you are blindfolded. That barely counts. I think there should seriously be a higher handicap of some sort. But I've played chess fewer than 10 times, so I really don't know what I'm doing. But I'm going to start by... See, okay, I'm going to move pawn to G3.
Okay, pawn to E5.
Your pawn to see, now the longest part about this is going to be me finding where to move your pieces. Okay,
The
pawn
one
to
in front of
E5.
the
Yes. There we go. Okay, pawn to H3.
Okay, bishop C5. The dark squared bishop.
This is terrifying. Okay, so bishop to C5. Right. I am absolutely shaking in terror, which I don't know why, seeing as I'm expecting to lose. Okay, rook to h2.
Okay.
I'm taking that slight delay as a good thing.
Okay. Let's go knight f6.
Ooh, knight to f. Here is f6. Where is 6? Here is 6. There we go. Knight to f6. Okay. Wow. The intimidation tactics at work. Okay. Pawn to c3.
Knight c6.
Knight to c6. Okay, I'm presuming it's this one. Knight c6. Yo, my heart rate. Wow. It's like watching very slowly as you know you're going to be destroyed. Okay. Just for anyone watching or listening, I'm trying to survive, definitely not to win. So I apologize if I'm playing so awfully that you want to tear your hair out. Pawn to h4.
Okay, knight g4.
Knight to g4. Okay. It's saying hi. Let's be aggressive. Although it's probably not aggressive. What is this called? A bishop to h3.
Okay. Knight takes h2.
Knight takes h2. Yes, it does. Very, very, very upsetting. It lasted quite a while before a piece was taken. I'm not going to make it dramatically fall off. We'll just put it there. Okay. I haven't died yet, so that's a good thing. Oh no, this is very intimidating. I feel like if I should just take one of your pieces for fun. Although that seems a bit foolish. Okay. I'm going to move for fun pawn to b3 because I'm clueless.
Okay, queen goes to f6.
Okay. Queen goes to f6. There, right. Queen is on f6. Queen is looking very intimidating. Yeah, I'm pretending like I'm thinking deeply, but we all know that's not happening. I'm gonna just move this. Oh no, I can't move that because that's not good. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm overthinking this. Let us just move a pawn to a3.
Okay, queen takes f2. Checkmate.
Just to show that, queen f2, and that is checkmate.
Well played.
Can we have a read on the time? 3 minutes 57 seconds. Yeah, I told you it wasn't going to be 5 minutes. Okay, we can leave that up just so it
it looks good.
It looks good. Yeah. Okay. And I didn't even take the piece. Like I could have, but that would have just been a waste of time. All right. So they're just to show that he is who we say he is, and to visualize the impressiveness of that.
Gee whiz, Alex, down in a couple of minutes. That one's going to be tough, eh?
Okay. It was tough. It was tough. I expected it, but maybe not as quick as it was. Some could say maybe I lasted even longer than I should have, considering how poorly I played. But Yashul was sensational, part of our class of 2023. So yeah, he is the real deal. I want to pivot to something more exciting, where we're not us suffering, which we have done a little bit of now with the cricket and with the chess. We've done some really cool interviews with people who've given us some inspirational stories and some really positive messages. And behind you over there, Kate Woods, former hockey Olympian for South Africa. She had such a powerful message for us when we interviewed her for the Women's Day special last year about women's sport and the growth in the country. And I think we've seen so much happen in the past year and a bit. We hosted the Cricket World Cup in January, February last year. Again, they made the final this year. Might not have won, but they've made 2 finals in a row. It's going in the right direction. We hosted the Netball World Cup last year. There are a lot of things going in the right direction, and it's growing, and it's so exciting. And also the women box doing quite well in WXV2. I mean, they're improving year on year. They've also made the World Cup, and Sway's the Brains involved there, really getting the team to the next level. But what do you remember about Kate and her really motivational message?
It was just how much work has been going into this and the true passion that it takes to get to where you want to be. I mean, she went through so much adversity and she powered through. And the fact that she's so passionate about helping others, one, but also just showing how amazing women can be, that she can be a mother on one end, an Olympian on one end. And it's the duality of a perfect life, honestly.
And she's someone who is so passionate about sport, and that really comes across in the message that she has. So we'll stop talking about it and
I think she could
just let you enjoy it and see how special it was.
It's a topic that is very close to my heart. Having experienced it for a 10-year career, and just seeing now so much, we've just got to do so much. We have the most talented sportswomen in our country, and we have to invest in providing them a platform. I get emotional talking about it because what more do female athletes need to do to be recognized and rewarded as they deserve?
Oh, it was such a special message from former Olympian for hockey, Kate Woods. We've had a few of those special messages. One of our sort of go-tos for the last 2 years has been the St. Mary's Festival. We went last year. We went this year. We'll talk about Tahira later on and her great quiz. But this year, we interviewed Ros Howell, a legend of St. Mary's.
A legend of South African hockey, I think you have to say. He's been so into the system, coaching, being there as a support to the girls coming through the system. I can't say hockey, not even in Joburg, but in South Africa without Ros Howell.
Yeah. She's synonymous with South African schoolgirls hockey. And she, in the interview, we sort of just, I think, asked her if there was anything she wanted to add. And she ended off with such a special story. And it was a personal story because she was there at the Athens Olympics and she told us this story. And I got goosebumps.
No, it shook me.
Yeah, it was that special. And we've got it here for you to have a watch and just sort of imagine you're there experiencing the emotion Ros is experiencing. And she just tells it so well.
I'm going to tell you a story that I think is really worthwhile for schoolgirls to note. So in Athens, the last event is the 4x400 at any Olympic Games. It's first the ladies and then the men. And in Athens, the 400-meter gold medalist was the Greek girl. And the Greek 4x400 team they were going to win the gold. They were the favorites. And the stand there was full of blue because, you know, the Greeks wear blue and white. And they started the race and they were about second. Guys, I can see it in front of me right now. And it was tight. It was tight between them and the Americans, and everything was tight. Their third runner, as she took the baton and moved, the Russian girl stood on her, across the lane, so they would have been disqualified, and stood on her shoe, so her spikes came off. She put her shoe on, and she carried on running, and it came to hand the baton over to the world record holder and the Olympic gold medalist. And she was 30 meters or 40 meters behind. And I wondered, how was she going to run this race? Because, you know, she could have just walked it if she took that baton and she ran that last 400 as if she was winning the gold medal for Athens. That stadium erupted, all of us. I mean, if I could have run down there and hugged her or got an autograph or done something, I will never forget that in my whole sporting. It's probably the most amazing sporting not sporting event, not an event, sporting moment that I will ever have experienced. And that's what we have to remember when we go to the Olympics. It's about being there. It's about doing and running, even if you come in last, running as hard as you can. That's it, boys.
Oh, it gives me goosebumps every single time I watch it. You're watching the SuperSport Schools Podcast. Tim's alongside me. We're 2 years old. We're celebrating our birthday by reliving some of our favorite moments. And that was Ros Howell from St. Mary's, who's such an inspiration for hockey in South Africa, telling us that little anecdote. Somebody else we met at St. Mary's, Tim, is Riabet Sueprume from St. Stithians, the St. Stithians hockey captain. we learn a lot of crazy things on this podcast, sometimes through the quiz and sometimes just through the interviews themselves. And one of the things about her is that she has played for 4 national sides, 3 of them before she was 18, but 4 national sides in a period of about 6 months for hockey.
I'm not gonna lie. I remember the first time I heard that fact, I was like, no. You know that one pathological liar friend? You know when they, no, I went to Japan, then I went to Portugal. And you're like, no, stop lying to us. You and Pretoria. So that's what I was thinking with the first time. But she actually did this. She's actually that good. And if you watch her play, it's believable. I remember seeing her at St. Mary's, be like, damn, that one, special.
Yeah. And not just hockey. I mean, she's also played a bit of netball. So I don't know, now she doesn't play netball because it's a bit too much, but she was playing hockey and netball at the same time. And there are a whole lot of stories like that of some of our top sportsmen and women in South Africa who have done that. And when I say men and women, it's more still boys and girls. You've got Quenema Parker, who's playing for the national side, and he was in matric this year. And he, I think, even this year, played hockey while being an IPL, SA20 and Proteas cricketer. It's just insane. There's some serious talent, and we've got to meet so many of them, which is quite cool. We can say one day when they're up,
We know those bits.
we knew you first.
We knew you. I saw you.
We saw you when you were on SuperSport Schools, and some of the crews that are also working behind the scenes are quite inspirational as well. We've got a little photo down here. Eurasia Haswell, who's instrumental in KZN football, and her all-female crew, which was the first in the country, had a great interview with them in Westville at the Chiltern Sports Club. And yeah, there's just so many inspirational stories that we get to uncover and learn about. I think it's just been an amazing 2 years. We've spoken about almost everything on this board, but one thing that we obviously don't talk about on the show is all the behind-the-scenes effort that goes into it, the amazing crews we work with all across the country when we're shooting on location in the studio. But it's a lot of travel that we do. There's a lot of setup time. I mean, everyone just watches the 30-minute show, but we set up, we get things wrong. We record our intros.
No, I think that's the one thing. I remember when you first told me we were doing a podcast, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to be perfect every single time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I'm going to get this done. And the fact that this is pre-recorded means I can mess up, and I have messed up the number of times I've had to re-record intros with the 2 of us because I keep just stuttering through it.
And then you'll get it right, and then I'll mess up mine. Then I'll get mine right, and you'll mess up yours. So we like doing elaborate intros when we're on location, like we did here with Leighton Mouton at Wynberg Boys High School, because at the top they have that wonderful walkway where we were like, cool, we want to do a walking shot. We're going to do the intro. And that was one of our better ones because we got it quite quickly. But
yeah, it still took us 10 minutes though. I mean, still beats the St. Mary's one where it genuinely took us 20 minutes because I kept forgetting the 3 lines I was meant to say.
It's a lot of fun though.
We do have fun.
And then sometimes while the cameras are rolling, luckily enough, we capture, I guess it would go into the offcuts. They don't get used. But if there was ever a blooper reel.
Yeah, our personal.
Blooper reel, one of the top ones that we've picked from that happened at this Wynberg shoot. I don't even know how it came about. I was trying to say a sentence and then got stuck on a word. You started beatboxing.
At that stage, it sounded like it was a beat. I thought, DJ remix, let's get on it.
We made a pretty good beat, I think. I think it speaks for itself. So have a look at this. Go. Red light. Yeah. Green light. I'm thinking of the meme where the guys are like at the robot and then it's red and then the song's playing and then it goes green on the thing and then they go and then they just lose their But it's been fun looking back at the past 2 years of the incredible things we've got to do with the podcast, and I'm excited for the next year. We're gonna keep it going.
Keep it going.
What do you think from all the things we've chatted about today? Is there a highlight? Anything that stands out? I know you spoke about Craven Week earlier. My favorite was Amy Barrett-Turon. But for you, just something else from the things we've spoken about today?
I mean, we didn't fully touch on this, but we kept double dabbling around it. The St. Mary's Festival.
Yes.
Such a class festival to be at. The energy, the format of the hockey, there's just so much hockey being played. And since the games are so short, everybody's putting 100% in every single game. It's such high energy hockey. Nobody's holding back. Since they also have rolling subs, people literally play until they're exhausted and then just quickly get subbed off because they know they can come off quickly and come back on.
And the game ends and you have like a minute to change over before the next game starts. It's just manic, but the vibe is amazing. The St. Mary's girls are incredible when it comes to war cries.
Those war cries every time. Every time. I find myself singing along and I don't even go there. It's crazy.
Well, that's sort of our annual pilgrimage we make in April. So hopefully we'll be back there next year for the St. Mary's Festival 2025. But Tim, we've done over 70 episodes. We've done 2 years of the podcast. Yeah. It's been a good ride.
It has.
And it's
not the end of the ride.
No.
But it's been a fun one.
We're going to keep going. It's been fun celebrating 2 years, though, today. And thank you for joining us for our celebration of 2 years of the SuperSport Schools podcast, brought to you by Spur. And we've been brought to you by Spur this entire time, these 2 years. So they've been a fantastic partner for us as well. I mean, thinking of that, I'm a bit hungry. And it's past breakfast. We could have had the Unreal breakfast.
Yeah, I was gonna let that one slip in. Whenever we go on a trip, Alex has to get an Unreal breakfast. Like, no matter what, man.
56.90 nationwide until 11 a.m. I mean, come on. It does not get better than that.
It is a good breakfast. I'll give you that.
It is a good breakfast.
Quite nice.
It is special. But yeah, again, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the SuperSport Schools podcast, brought to you by Spur. Thanks for celebrating our second birthday with us, reliving some of our favorite moments over the past 2 years. We'll see you next week. But for now, bye-bye.
This has been the SuperSport Schools Podcast, bringing you stories of our future stars, powered by Spur Steak Ranchers.